Hey, everybody. It's Carol Huston with True Story Realty, and I am here with my buddy, Barry Krevoy with the Krevoy Team because there are lenders, and I had to tell you this amazing story of what happened. I just felt like it's so good. We just need to get these stories out there, right? So I put this house on the market in Burbank. It was such a cute house. We had done a lot of stuff to it to get it kind of just spruced up. One of the great little gems was that there had been carpeting in both bedrooms the entire life of the house. They pulled the carpet up and the wood floors underneath were pristine. So suddenly we were thinking we'd have to replace the carpet with, no, the wood floors were original. They matched the rest of the house wood floors. It was just like, priceless. So great. So we get the house on the market. We have Wonderland Home Designs do the staging. Rudy Garrido did all of the painting and everything. Our guy Victor did the floors. So we have a whole team of people. And so typically when it's my listing, I'm getting buyers that come in with their own realtor and their own lender. And so we got about, 6 offers by Sunday night. Monday morning, the rates went up over 8%. Suddenly, out of those 6 offers, 4 offers went away. 2 offers were left, and they were both about the same amount. And I really liked this one buyer. His name was Ilya, and he and his girlfriend had been to the house, every open house, they were there probably 4 times. And I could just tell they loved it. He just loved it. And he's from the Ukraine, so my heart kind of went with that also because of that. He had family there that were fighting, and I don't know, I just felt like I love this guy. So we have 2 offers. By Monday mid-morning, I get a call from Ilya's broker, and he says, you know what? He's backing out. He just doesn't feel he can afford it now that the rates have gone up. And I was like, I saw his pre-approval letter. I wouldn't think it's changed that much, and he had a lot of down payment. I said, would it be okay if I had him talk to my lender? And he's like, well, I guess. I don't know. My lender's pretty good. I said, you know what? I'd feel much better if he could just talk to Barry Krevoy. Would that be okay? So I had his phone number because he had walked through the house before he'd given me his agent's number. So I texted him Barry's info. And I basically sent a bridge email saying, Barry, can you help us? Could you talk to Ilya, just go over his stuff and give him a second opinion? Would it be possible? And then Barry, you got a hold of him. You guys talked. You spent probably an hour and a half with him. I suddenly get a text saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much for introducing me to Barry. I think I can still buy the house. Will you still consider my offer? So I called the sellers and I was like, wait, don't take that other offer yet. Let's just talk about this. They really liked Ilya's offer, and he was going to be able to close quicker because he had Barry. And I said to the sellers, look, this is my lender that now would be representing this buyer. I know him. I can call him directly. If he says he can close in a certain amount of time, that's what's going to happen. So the seller was like, wait, how did that happen? How did you get your lender there? And I was like, because he said he didn't feel comfortable buying the house. And I thought, well, maybe he needs another opinion, which is what he did. And so we opened escrow. And in the end, we closed on that deal. And I thought people need to know this, that who you work with makes all the difference in the world. And the fact that you literally got the call from me, you dropped what you were doing and you jumped in and you helped this client that you had no idea whether you were going to get the business or not. You just wanted to help me help him. And look what happened. We ended up serving this guy who thought he couldn't afford the house and suddenly realized, oh, of course I can afford this house. I don't know what the other guy was telling him, but you made it happen, Barry. And so I felt like we need to do a video about this because who we align ourselves with and how we connect with one another really makes all the difference in the world. And are you working with people that are of service, that it's not out like, oh, well, if I can make money from this versus how can I help Carol, which is what I felt you do. It was just beautiful. So I had to tell the story, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Carol, I can't tell you how much I love hearing this. First of all, I think that, this is a part of the problem in our industry, is that we don't have people that we fully trust and we fully rely on, and we know, look, I can, when this person says they can do something, there's just no doubt in my mind they can do it. Exactly. So when you meet somebody, coming across with that level of confidence is, just a massive step in the right direction for a lender to know that somebody is a great of a real estate agent as you are, and what a great team True Story is. To even be breathing the same air is an honor, but to have you talking about us in the way that you did, the client already is walking in there feeling they're going to have a different experience.
Yeah.
And, I can't say this enough to other realtors who could be out there listening to this right now, is if you have clients and they're fighting you tooth and nail through the process, they're not taking your suggestions and putting an offer where you feel like the offer should be. You find them going to 10, 15 houses before they even put in an offer. Well, part of the problem is because you have a lender who hasn't really gone through the trouble to make them confident about their purchasing abilities.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So
yeah,
they know all of the information. They know the offer they write is going to be strong, and that they have the power of what they're saying. They don't have to be afraid. And I think you really help them be unafraid in a way that their realtor had tried, their lender obviously didn't do. And you also then sold me on them as to why they were great buyers, which was really fun. And I was like, well, I thought they were good, but now that you're telling me they're good, then yeah, we're all on the same page.
Well, I don't take your reputation lightly, Carol. And on the opposite side of that, that I don't take our reputation lightly. Like, before we bless a file or before we, actually get somebody pre-approved, we do all the hard work up front. We don't want there to be, surprises. Sometimes you can't help it, but the more work we do at the beginning, the better it is. And, I often will start out with a client who's had a bad experience with a lender by saying, I apologize for the rest of my industry. Because 98% of the loan officers out there it goes something like this. They walk into a bank or a credit union, or they're on a meeting with a direct lender, and they just ask the basic questions. You walk into a bank or a credit union, and they go, okay, well, Mr. Krevoy, first of all, I want to thank you for being a client of our bank for the last 15 years. That's so great. And you want to buy a house? Wonderful. Let's take a look at your account. Okay, wow. What do you do for a living? Well, I'm whatever. And how much money do you make? Okay, right. Great. You make $250,000. Okay, let's go ahead and look at your credit. Wow. Okay, your credit looks good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Here's your pre-approval, and let us know when you find a house. Now, nowhere in there did they, and I'm not saying all banks and all direct lenders, I don't want to offend anybody that's watching this out there. Not everybody works this way, but I would tell you more often than not, they are not doing the work up front. They issue a pre-approval like it's a little league ribbon, participation trophy that they give out. They don't go through what is going on in the economy right now. They're not talking about what's happening with interest rates, why interest rates are high, giving them a snapshot of what could happen with the economy in the next 6 to 12 months. And you're kidding yourself if you think your clients aren't thinking about this, that they're not worried about it. When rates are up, home affordability becomes more difficult. And these clients just want to know that they're not going to get stuck for the next 30 years with a higher than, ideal interest rate that what they hoped for, we can't guarantee them anything, but if we actually show them the numbers, the facts and figures, it helps them to come to their own decision that, you know what, I think I
that
can do
half
this.
an hour that you sit with them and you actually share your screen.
Actually, an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah, sorry, an hour to an hour and a half, and you share your screen with them, that hour and a half that you give to them, and you share your screen with them, showing them all the numbers, giving them all the possibilities, it means so much because it means, first of all, you're not patronizing them and making them kind of like, you're making them part of the whole process and the decision making. You're not saying, well, son, here you go. This is what you're going to do. You're saying these are all your options. And what you do is you empower buyers. And I see it every single time. You empower them to the point of where they feel like they're so confident that they know that what they're doing is the best, what they're getting their house for and what they're affording the house for is the best decision that they could make. And you empower that decision for them so that there isn't at the end some like, oh no, I didn't know this. You know, that happens a lot where suddenly the buyer is signing off on everything and saying, well, I didn't understand that I was going to have to pay insurance in addition to my monthly PITI or whatever. All of it's explained up front. And that is it. I love it as a realtor working with buyers, because I know that if I'm going to go out and look at houses with them, if I open the door, they know what they can afford. I know what they can afford, and there's no question. I won't even put anybody on an auto notify list without first knowing that you have told us what it is they can afford. There's just no reason. It wastes everybody's time, and they end up disappointed and frustrated. And as a listing agent, if I can run every buyer that comes in with an offer, if I can run them by and get your opinion on it, I can't even tell you, Barry, there's so many times where they get your opinion and they kind of go, I think I want to go with your lender. And they have to call their agent and say, I don't want to go with Bob. I want to go with Barry. Barry and Shane really explained it to me in a way that I didn't know. There have been many occasions where this has happened because you've helped me out. And you're totally there's no pressure. You just say, okay, well, if I can run the numbers and see if we could work something out, because both of us have the same philosophy, which is to be of service to our clients. So
Right.
You gave incredible service to me by just running the numbers with Ilya, the buyer of another agent coming into my listing and ending up being the buyer that the sellers went for because of all that you presented to us to see that he really was able to do it and do it quickly. So thank you.
Well, on that note, Carol, our goal, empower is a great term. We want somebody who feels confident about their decision-making process, not what we think, not what anybody else thinks. I mean, if you back up, an opinion doesn't mean anything if it's not based on facts and figures. And I mean, you have to give somebody a realistic idea of, what is going on out there and help them to make their own decision. But I know for 100% fact, because you told me this, one of the other things you love about doing business with us is that when you do send us somebody and they're getting a good deal, and they have a good loan officer, we'll tell them, you know what?
Yeah.
I think you should stick with, the loan officer that you've got. It sounds like they're doing a great job. They're going to get a good deal.
Or private banking, and we give you all the information. You're like, that's an amazing deal. They should take it. We can't beat it. The only thing that I feel disappointed about that is that when I have a buyer that has already been, pre-approved through their private banking, through, say, City National Bank, right? Or Chase through a business account. That's fantastic. They get a great rate. But the problem is we lose control over how the escrow can close.
That's right.
What gets very, very dicey is that I know when you say, Carol, we can close this in 21 days, I know we're going to close it in 21 days. If you say, no, Carol, it's really going to take 32 days, I know it's going to take 32 days. So my expectations are absolutely managed, and I'm not expecting anything else. But when I have a bank that says, oh, no, we have this, it's our private banking, we can close it in 30 days, and suddenly it's 35 days, and we still don't have the closing document needed for the buyer. It gets pretty frustrating, and it's on someone's desk. There isn't a person that I can go to and say, hey, Barry, what's going on with this? And that's what people don't understand is in the process of trying to close a home, yeah, you've saved money, but you might piss everybody off that's involved in the deal, and it could come back and bite you. And that's the part in the end. I want to avoid the kerfuffles that happen at the end of an escrow when it needs to be closed, when you guys show up and you've got everything lined up and it closes completely with ease and peace and everyone is happy. So that's the other part of the deal. You not only get people good deals, but you also follow the deal through the end so that we know it will close on time. And that is such peace of mind. So thank you for that too.
Well, I mean, we try to tell that to our clients, but sometimes I think it's taken in a way that they think that we're selling them.
Yeah.
There's more to choosing the right loan officer other than just the interest rate. When you deal with a bank or a credit union or, a lot of lenders, you'll call them on, a Saturday at 5 or 6 o'clock at night. And because you got excited, you went and saw some open houses that day. You want to talk to your lender and they don't pick up.
Right.
You call them at, 10 a.m. on Sunday because you're excited about going and looking at some open houses that day. If it's a bank or a credit union, you're lucky to get a call back on Monday or Tuesday. When you go into contract, a realtor, if things are starting to get, pushing against the clock, realtors want good communication and not putting banks or credit unions down or even direct lenders, but that's not necessarily their forte. I mean, banks and credit unions, we often tell clients, are much like a cruise ship. They move slowly and they turn around slowly, whereas we're more like a speedboat. Like we closed a VA loan in 14 days before, which I thought was unheard of, because the VA appraisal itself usually takes 10 days. We've closed an FHA loan in 14 days. I mean, we've closed conventional loans in 12 days. It just depends on how complicated the file is. But that's the one cool thing that you get with a really good lender is you're going to get good communication. Like you're not going to be sitting there wondering, well, I know, Carol, you're one of the easiest people in the world to get along with. But every once in a while, you'll run into somebody who mistakes your kindness for weakness, and they start battering you. It's not fair to you to not be able to get a hold of your lender to get some answers. While in the meantime, you're getting texts, phone calls, smoke signals, three-eyed ravens are showing up. Trying to get answers. You want a lender that is going to make you a priority. And we try to do that with all of our clients and all of our agents, but man, you're just your whole team is just incredible, Carol. Yeah. The True Story Realty, you guys feel like family to us. And regardless of whether we get business or not, we just feel awesome. The fact that you guys have so much confidence in us and makes us want to do even better. So thank you.
Thank you, Barry. I mean, the other thing that's really fun to think about is we got that buyer into a home for the holidays.
Yep.
He's home for Christmas. Yep. And it makes me so happy. So kudos, high five. We did it. Yes. So proud to be on the same side as you, and the service that you provided, not only to the buyer, but also to the sellers was fantastic. So
yeah, I think that a great thing about this video, if you are watching this and you are a realtor, is that sometimes you have something that's wrong and you can't quite pinpoint what it is. Like it's a difficult buyer. they won't make a decision. They constantly are trying to put offers in for less than the value of the property, even though you've been doing your best. It's not always your fault. Like, who are you doing business with? Because this is a team effort. The reason why Carol and I and Shane, my partner and son, and the True Story team, we do so well is that we're all aligned. Like, we're delivering the same message. And, it's not something we're just pulling out of the air. It's something that, we're students of our profession. Like, you guys, if a client says to me, hey, Carol is wanting to show me this house, do you think it's worth it? I go, wow, it's a beautiful house, but that's a Carol question. Like, that's not my line. I mean, right. Would I buy it? Yeah, I'd buy it. But I mean, you're not asking the authority. The authority is Carol or Savannah or Matt or Darlene or any of the True Story agents. Those are the authorities. We're the authorities when it comes to the finance, but it's that unified front, the expertise that they get all across the playing field is what winds up helping you close more business. So if you're a realtor and you're finding that most of your clients are difficult, take a look at who you're doing business with, because that could be the problem.
I think part of it also, Barry, is that our core values are in alignment. What we believe and what we seek in our lives is that I think that we have a collaboration, but it's also that we make a contribution to the world in our service. And you very much in that way, you've lived your life that way. I think I have too. And I think that's why when we met, we just kind of went ding, 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 ding. I mean, it all kind of just clicked together because we have a real core value to show up in excellence. We have a core value to show up with integrity and with joy and with enthusiasm, but also with the hard facts and the truth. And we do believe that's why my company's called True Story. We give you the true story, and we only give you the true story. And sometimes it's a hard story where you're the one saying, nope, you can't afford this. It's not going to work. It's too much unless you've got a magic, $1 million hiding out somewhere or a rich uncle somewhere. This isn't the right house. And we can literally know that before we ever kind of like put somebody in the position that they fall in love and find out they can't have it, which is a very hard thing. So instead, we are all prepared up front. We're all on the same page. And that alignment changes everything. It just makes everything much smoother. And we all kind of just have peace, and there's a calm about it. And there's an excitement about being a buyer. Instead of the stress and the crazy, we just take all of the crazy out of it, and we just make it so much more fun. And I think the enthusiasm that we both have when we're helping someone is contagious. And I think it spreads through all the parties in the deal. And I think in the end, look, the end result is always that everyone feels so delighted that they were able to do this. The seller is so satisfied with the selling of their home and so relieved and happy. And the buyer is just ecstatic, ready to move in. And isn't that like, that's like chef's kiss as to what we, yeah.
Well, Carol, it was our pleasure. It's always our pleasure. And I just want to leave by saying we wanted to do this video really just because Carol and I and all of our team was so inspired from this story. And it was a case example of how a great team works together. We completely trust True Story Realty, and they completely trust us. And it just takes so much stress out of it when you have that kind of trust. It also helps you close more business. So if you are a real estate agent and you're finding that you don't have that kind of relationship with your lender, we sure would love to talk to you. If you're a client and you're looking for a great team, we can't think of anybody better in the greater Los Angeles area than True Story Realty. I'm talking about cream of the crop realtors that not only will help you find a home, They'll help you structure the right offer and just make the whole process seem so much easier. And we're honored always to take part in that. If you would like to talk to us, you could always email us at team@krevoyteam.com. We'll put that information here below. It's also at the end of this video. And you can call me at 949-735-4009. And we would love to talk to you. Thank you again. Carol, thanks so much. And I hope all of you guys have a wonderful day.